These human rights activists have travelled to the Japanese countryside to make their voice heard in support of foreign nationals held in detention centres. Some of the people here have been in detention for several years.
We are citizens from Tokyo. We have gathered here to demand the protection of human rights. Your situation, your suffering, your circumstances are not being ignored.
In April, an Indian asylum seeker committed suicide inside this building. 3 more have tried to kill themselves, while others went on hunger strike. Under Japanese law, they can be kept in detention indefinitely, a tactic used to pressure the detainees, who are arrested for working illegally, to accept deportation. The detainees shout back. But their responses are barely audible.
You will not be alone.
That's sad. Anger. That's kind of shameful.
The activists hand in a petition with more than 17,000 signatures at the immigration office. But the plight of refugees and asylum seekers barely registers as an issue in Japan. We meet a Kurdish family in the Tokyo suburbs. They fled Turkey and arrived in Japan 14 years ago and have been trying to gain recognition as refugees ever since. All of the men have spent time in a detention centre. The father ended up committing suicide. The youngest son has been detained for 2.5 years.
We call him every day, and he seems to be weakening physically and mentally as well. He's in a really stressful situation.
We came to Japan to have a better quality of life, but in fact it's worse than in Turkey. We should never have come here.
The number of asylum seekers in Japan has roughly doubled in the past year, yet only a few are granted permission to stay.
The majority of the asylum seekers come from 3 countries, the Philippines, Thailand and Sri Lanka. These countries are not at war, with masses of people fleeing conflict, which is why we accept so few applicants.
With just 2 years to go before Tokyo hosts the Olympics, the authorities are under strict instructions to clamp down on illegal immigration.
The government wants to encourage lots of people to come and visit from overseas for the Olympics. But this will also lead to a rise in illegal immigration, and we are determined to address that.
But Japan, with its ageing and shrinking population, needs migrant workers. Some asylum seekers find work even if their initial application to remain is rejected. They include Youssef Judi, a Syrian who fled the war in his home country. With help from local people, he set up a firm that exports consumer electronics to the Middle East.
What we're really looking for now are iPhone 5s, if you don't mind.
We are going to get lots of them.
I faced many obstacles doing business in Japan. It's a very expensive country, but I started doing business from Japan with my family's friends and contacts who are based in northern Iraq, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. And now, God willing, I'll keep on running my own business, my own company.
These students organise events to try to alter the public's perception of asylum seekers in Japan.
When they ask me where you're from, I say I'm from Syria, they get like freaked out. It's like, what?
Internet. Sometimes the government can cut internet in Congo.
All of these asylum seekers say they have a business idea in mind.
Today we met refugees who told us about their startup projects. They're not waiting for others to help them, as we often tend to think. They're trying to get things done themselves. I was really impressed by that.
To help people relax, a Tunisian refugee has made dishes from home.
Well, it's about the smell and the taste of the country. And it's also a way of getting to know each other. Food can play a more important role than an embassy sometimes, right?
Most of the people here know that they will have little chance of being officially recognized as asylum seekers in Japan. But they also know that Japan will not send them home against their wishes.